Welcome to Rotten Damians. Today we are discussing the top 5 Treehouse of Horror segments. The Simpsons is probably the most iconic sitcom and animated television show in the world. I know for many of us, including myself, it played an integral part in our childhood and introduced us to the horror genre in a very tame and fun way. So, having said that, The Simpsons means a lot to me, and I'm super excited to make this video. Also, as preparation for this video, I got to watch over 34 episodes of The Simpsons, which, in hindsight, I should probably leave the house more. Anyway, you guys don't care about that, let's get into the video. In spot number 5 from worst to best, we have Homer Cubed. In this segment, Patty and Selma are coming to visit their favorite little sister, Marge. So, the Simpsons go into hiding. Bart and Lisa take the closet, Snowball and Santa's little helper take the rug because Homer would absolutely fit under there. So, Homer is forced to hide behind the cupboard, where there seems to be some portal in the wall. Patty comes looking for a screwdriver in the cupboard, so Homer, afraid to get caught, takes his chances in the mystery wall. He enters the portal and I think he reacts exactly as any yellow human would.
Holy macaroni!
Homer begins exploring this new world and he discovers that when he shouts, he can be heard in the living room of the house. And he can hear everything said in the living room. Long story short, he asks for help and all the Simpsons characters come to his aid, like Reverend Lovejoy and Chief Wiggum. Chief Wiggum decides to blindly fire his gun in hopes of helping Homer, and it creates a black hole in the 3D world. Bart ties a rope around his waist and jumps into the 3 dimension to help his father. It's a little out of character, you wouldn't expect Bart to do that. But nonetheless, he tries to help his father.
You'll have to jump!
He's the king, son.
While the world collapses, Bart gets tugged back to the 2D world and Homer is transported to our world, the real world. He has a little freak out because nobody around him is yellow, but he soon finds an erotic cake store, and everything is okay. This episode made the list because firstly, I love when sitcoms abandon their usual formula and indulge in creative freedom where they try new animation and storytelling styles. Secondly, this episode aired in 1995 when 3D animation was pretty rare, so I can imagine that this segment was expensive and extremely difficult to pull off. In spot number 4, we have The Day the Earth Looks Stupid. This segment is set in the late 1930s, hence the sepia tone and old-timey atmosphere. It follows a radio hoax that Orson Welles hosts. He tells a story of how aliens have invaded the Earth and are offing humans. Springfield quickly erupts into madness and Marge has the brilliant idea to get naked and roll around in the mud to pretend that they are animals, which in turn should confuse the aliens. Lisa then tells the town that the alien invasion was a hoax. But Kang and Kodos are watching and they decide to invade the Earth because the humans' guard will be down. It turns out to be an effective move because nobody believes Lisa or Orson when they try to warn humanity about the aliens. It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf situation. A few years later, the aliens have taken over the entirety of Springfield. This episode quite literally only made the list because I love old-timey radio horror shows. I even used to be an avid listener to the Thrilling Adventure Hour podcast. I especially love this scene.
Now they're riding horses in the rain.
In spot number 3, we have 4 beheadings and a funeral. This segment is set in London during the 1890s and it's a parody of the graphic novel From Hell. The episode revolves around a Jack the Ripper-like murderer, which causes Lisa to begin acting like Sherlock Holmes and Bart to begin acting like her trusty sidekick, Dr. Watson. Long story short, there is a spew of murders that throw Bart and Lisa off the track of the killer, but ultimately they catch him because the murder weapon smells like eel pie. And the only person that eats eel pie is none other than Chief Wiggum.
That's that down there, you.
This segment made the list for 2 reasons. Firstly, it is the first episode of The Simpsons I had ever seen, so it holds a very special place in my heart.
So cute!
And secondly, I really loved the animation and London setting. In spot number 2, we have Clown Without Pity. In this segment, Homer forgets to get Bart a birthday present, so he makes a quick run to the store. And where better to do birthday shopping than the House of Evil? At the House of Evil, Homer speaks to the owner, who advises him on a Krusty the Clown doll, during which we get this iconic scene.
But it comes with a free Frogut.
That's good.
The Frogut is also cursed.
That's bad.
Homer gets home and gives Bart the doll, and they share a very tender moment. It's incredibly sweet, but the sweetness does not last, because soon the doll tries to kill Homer. In retaliation, Homer throws the doll into a sack of his dirty socks and tries to throw it down a bottomless pit. But the Chucky wannabe is too crafty and manages to escape his doom. The doll then tries to drown Homer in the dog's water, so Marge calls the customer helpline.
Yes, I'll hold.
Soon, an employee arrives and turns the doll to good with the flip of a button. Krusty then becomes Homer's friend/slave, where at the end of every day he goes home to Lisa's Malibu Stacy doll. And the episode ends on a positive note. This episode made the list because it has horror elements, hence it's a spin-off of Chucky. The characters also act like themselves, for example, Homer forgetting Bart's present. And lastly, I enjoyed that the episode ended on a positive note. It has classic Simpsons written all over it.
Oh!
In spot number 1, can we get a drum roll please? We have the monkey's paw. In this segment, the Simpsons are on holiday in Morocco. Homer goes exploring and finds a store where he purchases a monkey paw that has the power to grant wishes, but each wish comes with grave misfortune. Maggie makes the first wish, which she didn't waste at all. She wishes for a new pacifier. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Bart uses the second wish and wishes for the Simpsons to be rich and famous. At first, everything is great. They have tons of money, everyone knows them, and they're eating at high-end restaurants. But this doesn't last, and soon everyone turns on the Simpsons. Lisa uses the second last wish and wishes for world peace, which leads to everyone destroying their weapons. Kang and Kodos, watching the Earth, use this to their advantage and invade the Earth because, well, there's no weapons to stop them. Homer then attempts to solve everything by hitting his daily protein intake. He wishes for a turkey sandwich, but unfortunately, there's misfortune associated with the sandwich.
The turkey's a little dry. Oh, foul accursed thing!
Deciding that the hand is useless, he gives it to Flanders, who gets a fresh set of wishes. The first wish Flanders uses is to get rid of the aliens, which leads to Moe chasing them with a piece of wood that has a nail sticking out of it. Flanders' second wish is for a bigger house, which he gets. I never really understood why Flanders never had any misfortune. Maybe the hand continued the Simpsons' misfortune by not giving him any. The episode made the list because it again has elements of classic Simpsons. Each character behaves exactly as they should, and there's a ton of heart between the horror segments. Like when Lisa gets into bed with Bart, or when all the kids get into bed with their parents because they had a nightmare. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. It took a lot of work. I had to sit through 102 Treehouse of Horror segments, which I'm not complaining about at all. Thank you for watching, and let me know your favorite Treehouse of Horror episode in the comments down below. I'll see you next week.